Hi, everybody. My name is Fanny Dillingham of Create Your World, and I am sitting here with Dr.
Yay!
Lauren Meeks of Melanated Queen. This is going to be my first podcast.
Yay!
I want to tell you a little bit about why we're here. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while, and I originally wanted to start out with interviewing people in the fitness industry, personal trainers, gym owners, people of that nature. But then there are so many dope people in the world that I just became attracted to, like Dr. Lauren Meeks here. I said, she's way too dope, and it's so many other people that could motivate us, give us some insight on how to be successful in business, on how to be successful in family, how to keep a healthy balance, how did you get here. And so I didn't want to just single it out and just make it be fitness driven only, because that's not all of who I am. And if you know me, you know that my business name is, like I said, Create Your World. And I don't just talk about fitness, I don't just talk about healthy eating. I'm talking about family, I'm talking about emotions. I'm talking about the balance of being an entrepreneur, so many things. And that's why we're here today. So I wanted to, I told Dr. Meeks that she was kind of spirit led for me. I didn't really, I've been watching her for quite a while, and I just love her movement. She has a organization called Melanated Queens, and I've watched her through the months. Probably how long?
It's been a little while. It was definitely at least last summer that I first met you.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
So I got connected with her, through sharing the networks, and just was immediately like, wow, this girl she's awesome. And so she has like these events every Friday night, Melanated Queens night. So, but I don't want to keep talking. I want to, for us to right now get to know Dr. Meeks. So, Dr. Meeks, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here in your space. We are in her space right now, and I just want to just open the floor and just for you to tell us to describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh, I had an idea of how I was going to answer some questions, but we've had a great conversation today. So, 3 words. I mean, ambitious, God fearing. Um, okay, God fearing is actually 2 words. We have a co-working space, so we're going to be coming in and out though. God fearing is 2 words, but please accept that as one. And family. I mean, that's who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does God fearing mean?
I don't want to say that I'm religious. You mentioned spiritual. That I think that's perfect.
Okay.
But I think that it's important that we understand that there's something much bigger than us.
Absolutely.
And so we're led oftentimes by experiences. We're led by our challenges that we've had. But the truth is, he's at the front and center.
Absolutely.
And so it's a healthy fear. It's almost like you don't want to disappoint him.
Right.
It's like your mother, your father growing up, or your nana, or big mama, whoever. You don't want to upset them because you know they love you.
Absolutely.
So it's that type of fear,
Okay.
and that's what keeps me on at least using the moral compass throughout my journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I'm right there with you. You said family. What does family mean?
My son, my husband, and my parents.
Okay.
I'm not. I got a brother out there, and he got a wife too, and all them. But I will say that my tight circle is actually more like a square.
Okay.
It's literally my parents and my husband and my son.
Okay.
So I'll talk about them often. Not so much my parents because they would rather me not discuss them on social media. But my husband and my son are very important to me. I mean, I do everything I do for them.
Okay.
I have embarked on this journey with the co-working space and all the things that I'm doing with Melanated Queen Productions because I want to be more accessible to my family.
Okay.
And I want to serve my community.
Absolutely.
And this is where they live. They live in this community.
So you are, and your whole family's in Homewood.
We're local. We're in Olympia Fields, but the business is in Homewood. So we're like 3 miles from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too far.
Not
Very
too far.
convenient. Very convenient. So I've been calling you Dr. Meeks.
Yeah.
What is your doctorate in?
In education.
Oh, wow.
With a focus on ethical leadership.
What is ethical leadership?
You know, I thought when I first signed up for the program, it was something they just put together.
Okay.
But I mean, when you go through the program, you realize that it's in you know from working every day that there are ethical dilemmas.
Right.
There are people who operate in the ethical manner and people that don't. And so when it comes down to leadership, and by it being a faith-based school, you know, they have to find a way to throw that in there. But it's really just the right thing to do.
Okay.
What is the right thing to do when you're a leader? When you're overseeing a school, when you're overseeing a department, when you're overseeing a group of people, period. Which is one of the reasons why you hear so often I speak on servant leadership.
Okay.
Everything I do in Melanated Queen Productions is about servant leadership.
Okay.
So even though I'm the head, the CEO, and I don't really talk about that very often because it's not about me. It's about the people that you see walking in here.
Right.
It's about the people who share this space. It's about the people who desire to be a part of our community. I put them first.
Okay.
So to me, that's ethical leadership.
Right.
But as I'm learning and I'm going through these classes and learning the theory, it finally clicked that I have been operating this way throughout my whole career.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I just hadn't had a chance to create my own space for it.
Right. And because you're at the school too, you're in a high school.
I'm at alternative charter school.
And so you have to apply that knowledge
Absolutely.
every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us one way you were tested today where you had to exercise ethical leadership.
You know, I had to remind myself today that it's not my story, it's not my journey. So I work with kids. So when I'm not doing co-working stuff and Melanated Queen stuff, I'm a mentor at a school. And today, for an example, I had to, and I didn't have to, but I chose to allow a student to use our office to vent and to have a conversation that otherwise most adults would be like, you know, pump your brakes, watch your language, tone it down. We would just have to see him back in the school.
Right.
He had been truant for over a month. And so had that moment. I didn't necessarily like the energy.
Right.
And it wasn't comfortable for me, but it wasn't about me.
Right.
So I'm tested on that every day. Whether it's in traffic, you know, when you, or when you have to sometimes think before you speak, which we should often do.
Absolutely.
We don't do it enough. Or when you're working with a young person, to remember that you've had your education. This is not about you. This is their time.
Right.
And you're here to serve. You're not here to, you know, remind them that you're an adult and you're in charge.
Right.
You know, we
They
have to
know
remember,
that.
Yeah, they know. But we have to make sure that they understand that their voice is heard and that they are just as important as the next student. So that's that.
Sounds like you chose a really good major because over time I've learned that it's not just about academics. You know, for me, I learned that school is training for life.
It is.
And ethical leadership is just that. So it's crossed over into every aspect of your life. And that's exactly whatever major that you choose, it should be able to apply to daily living. A lot of the issues that the students speak on today, they say, how does this apply to everyday life? And I'm so thankful that I know now, because now I can explain it to them in a voice that wasn't told to me. It was just about
to do it. Yeah.
So you're being a vessel.
Oh, thank you.
You're being a blessing.
It's a daily effort.
Absolutely.
Know?
But it's in you. It's in you. It's totally in you. So how are you keeping a balance? So you're full time at the school as a mentor. You're running Melanated Queens, and we're gonna learn more about what Melanated Queens do. I just want to talk more about Lauren as a person first before we get into. So you're hearing bits and pieces, but we're gonna get there. But so she has this organization, Melanated Queens. She has a family. She's working full time at the school, mentoring students. How are you keeping a balance? Or is it even possible?
Well, that's what we were talking about before, you know, offline. I mean, I can't say that I am balanced because part of it is it's more, you know, people love to talk about being booked and busy.
Yes.
And that sounds cute.
Yeah.
But is it healthy?
No.
At some point, you're sacrificing something.
Absolutely.
And so, to me, it's still a struggle. At the end of the day, I work with kids. I come home. I'm helping with homework. I'm making sure that I do whatever I have to do to be a good wife.
Right.
Something is left off. It's usually me.
Right.
You know, it's, you know, so whether it's preparing for the next day and having the meal prepared, or just taking a moment of silence and not saying nothing to nobody. It's hard to get that. It
is.
It's hard to get that, which is why. And then even on top of that, I'm sharing some of those moments with, you know, my Facebook family and social media, because that's just a part of the whole world anyway. I mean, it's part of what we
hilarious.
do.
She shares the funniest stories about them. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, so it's It's a daily effort. I
Mhm.
can't say that I have full balance.
Okay.
I will say that the one thing that I need to keep me sane is to have a moment to myself.
Okay.
Preferably, a wonderful day would be a day of nobody talking to me at all, but that doesn't happen. So I have to sneak in, whether it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whether it's in a car, whether it's I don't know, I'm at home and I wake up early, and before everybody else is up, or my husband is still at work. Sometimes he works nights, and my son's still asleep. I get up to have that moment, because the minute I wake my son up, he's talking about spiders or whatever else he's into.
Yes.
And so that there's my silence.
Yes.
So I try to, at least, that's my self-care. But I can't say there's a full balance. I mean, I think that we over glamorize being busy and being into everything.
Right.
I'm not sure that that's always healthy. You just have to find, you have to sometimes say no.
Yes. That's healthy.
Yeah.
That's very healthy. And the fact that you're stealing, not even stealing, but those moments where you can get it. So I think there is some balance there.
Yeah.
Of course we want more, but you're finding it where you can. So, and I'm the same way. I know when I wake up my house, it's a wrap.
Yep.
So I'm in the mornings I'm like on vacation. It's like, oh my God, it's like, this is my world right here. You feel, and it's a different sound.
It's different.
It's another kind of peace. Prayer is different. Everything is different.
And I'm nicer.
Yes.
I'm nicer. Don't you see the difference?
We need that time.
We need that time.
We need that time. If you could have your ideal day, how would your ideal day go?
My ideal day, okay, so don't tell nobody. Will literally be, and I say this with love because I have a husband who loves me, I have a son who adores me. But it would be, they think I'm at work. They go about their day. The son is arranged to be picked up the way he needs to be picked up, whether his grandparents or my husband's picking him up, and I am not at work.
Oh.
I am at the movie theater.
Oh, yes.
I start off with a nice breakfast somewhere. I go to the movie theater by myself. I may go get a massage. I'm just out the house all day long.
Y'all see, she been thinking about that.
Yes. Well, because I've tried it several times and it never works. Because I always give in and be like, okay, well.
You feel guilty.
I'm all today. And guess what? My time is spent doing everything else.
Yeah.
But you feel bad because you know the people love you.
Yes.
So it's not that,
And they're always waiting on you.
Yeah, I don't want to complain. But, so that's to me, that would be that day. And then I show up at 5:30.
Mr. Meeks, you need to schedule her. She shouldn't have to be daydreaming.
I'm sitting there thinking like, I'm going to go to work one day and not really go to work. But,
you got her about to tell a story. We're going to have to get you a day.
That would be a perfect day. And I think I've had opportunities to do that,
but you got.
But I've allowed myself
mom guilt, family guilt, and I'm laughing at you.
Yeah.
And please believe, I want the same thing. And my family, it's like we almost think that we don't deserve it. Not that we don't deserve it, but you know how many sacrifices that you make on a daily basis, and you're like, they're waiting for me. They can't wait to see me. How dare I go spend this time alone?
Exactly.
I've given myself to all these people, and now when it gets to them, and it's not even about when it gets to them. It's just this is the only break.
Yeah, it's true.
So it looks like you just have to take it where you can.
I just have to take it. So I've already thought it's 2020, it's January, we're in a new year. I've already thought about the time I can maybe take off of work. What would that look like? And just play it right, and maybe tell the truth later. But I have to have it.
She still got it.
I gotta have it. It's gonna happen. I really have been thinking about this.
I see, because you're like, first of all,
it's gonna happen.
One. But no, that sounds like a beautiful day. I would love to do that. I've never done anything like that.
I'm gonna try it. and there were times when I was working part time. I was working full time, and I could have had one of those days. But I don't want to ask the grandparents to pick up a kid, knowing that I'm right here in the south suburbs.
But you should.
Yeah.
You're going to figure it out. You are going to figure it out because you definitely deserve it. Okay, we're about to get into Melanated Queens.
Yes.
Melanated Queens. What does that mean?
Well, it essentially is a representation of me.
Okay.
So it started when I wrote a book called Confessions of a Melanated Queen.
And how can we find that book?
Well, you can actually order it at confessionsofmelanatedqueen.com or amazon.com.
Okay.
That released 2 years ago in February in 2018. And so it was essentially 10 chapters, which I call confessions. So each chapter was a different confession about my social life and just my life in general as a black woman.
Okay.
Much of it had to do with marriage and family.
Okay.
So confession one was screw your corner office. Because all this happened because the job I thought I was going to retire from, I was fired from.
Oh.
So you talk about advocacy for youth and marginalized communities. I found myself behind the other side of the door because the powers that be didn't like the way I was advocating for youth.
Okay.
So the job that I thought that I was going to retire from right here in this community, it was taken from me abruptly.
Wow.
No warning, never even had so much as a write-up or anything. I never had disciplinary issues at all. So it was shocking and traumatic.
I bet.
For me. So I didn't know how I was going to bounce back. But over the next, this was 2014, it took me 4 years to finally put my thoughts into words, and I still feel like I held back.
Okay.
With that first book. Second one should be coming out soon.
Okay.
But, so I wrote a chapter called Screw Your Corner Office.
Okay.
And I talked about how, as black women, we need to be mindful as we try to climb this ladder. What does that really mean? Why are we being put into some of these positions? Are we really being put in these positions because of our worth?
Okay.
Or are we easy to be used? Are we easy to be manipulated? Are we easy to be, pulled along like puppets?
Right.
It's something to think about. And I told my story and why I no longer desire to climb a ladder, but to continue to serve, but build my own. So that was that. I talked about being the mother of a black son, and the challenges with that. How when I had a chapter called "Yes, I Love You, but I Don't Like You." I was talking about my husband. So it's a lot of these catchy like clickbait type titles. What I was saying essentially was, yeah, absolutely, I love him. Marriage is not always just
glamorous.
It's not. I mean, so I've been married almost 12 years now. And we've had some rough times. I mean, he's a veteran. We had to get to know each other several times. Because we change. Right. And so I talked about that and how it's not all what everybody believes it is, the fantasy that you have, but it's worth it. It's worth fighting for. And if you can't, and I even wrote about if things don't work out, how you should still consider, your own needs and what you need to do. It's empowering. It's encouraging. Someone said to me, she said, what I love about it is that it's not preachy. Right. I was like, well, I never intend on preaching, but I guess that's what people experience a lot of times when they're reading books like that. So, Confessions of a Melanated Queen evolved to a podcast under the same title. So, for a full year, I was doing everything Confessions of a Melanated Queen. But when I realized that I was going to film a documentary series, I knew I needed to start a business entity.
Tell us about this documentary series.
So, it was, and it is still in post-production. We're still working on it. So, we're doing the edits and everything for it. So, God willing, this year it will be released. But last year, we began to film it. And the chapter of my book that I chose to focus on for this pilot episode was I may not send my kid to college, which is huge for me because everybody's like, wait a minute, Dr. Lauren Meeks? Right. The one with the bachelor's and master's and the doctorate? Right. Is someone not sending her kid to college? Well, I talk about why. And the statement is I may not send my kids to college. Right. But of course I want him to go, but I want him to go prepared. Okay. We can't start. I'm encouraging parents in this chapter not to wait until they're in high school to get them prepared for college. Right. Start having those conversations when they're in kindergarten.
That is dope.
Yeah, and we can't keep haphazardly sending them to school.
What is the disadvantage of waiting till high school to get them prepared for college?
Well, because by the time a kid is in high school, well, let me just say this. It's important that we begin to really look at our kids for who they are, not what we want them to be. Yes. So you will see.
I got something to tell you about that. Okay. So go.
We'll see signs of who they are when they're really young, 2, 3, 4 years old. Absolutely. But so, like for me, for an example, my parents didn't know. And I love them because they supported me. They sent me to school. But that's all they did was send me to school. They didn't know how to prepare me for it. What they knew was that they worked for Cook County hospitals. They knew that doctors and not lawyers, but nurses and all these medical professionals made good money. And so their thing was, you should be a nurse. Right. You should do this, you should do that. Nursing was pushed on me. But what they didn't know is, okay, if you didn't tell her to be a nurse, then you can't let her not take the right science classes in high school. You got to start telling her when she's in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade that science is important. Right. Granted, that doesn't. A lot of us just worked through it and we became who we are because we put forth the effort. But we could better prepare our kids. Absolutely. Then why not? We would have more kids graduating science related programs.
Totally.
Yeah. But then also, if we look at our children's talents, then we will learn that maybe we shouldn't be saying they should do X, Y, and Z. We should say, okay, well, you really could consider this.
Right.
Which is why I joke about my son so much online, because we're paying attention to the things he's interested in. It may drop. I don't like to hear about spiders.
Okay.
I'm afraid of spiders, but we know he loves science. And so, granted, I don't want to hear about it, but
he's
a passion
about
for
it.
it. So I'll allow you to look at YouTube videos on that, and I may even take you to the pet store and let you look at spiders. I mean, we may even go explore them somewhere. I mean, we'll go to the zoo or whatever. But it's not about me; it's about you.
Absolutely. This sounds a whole lot about what Melanated Queens is as a whole. Like you're really giving us the whole the whole chapter of what it's taken to be a queen.
Yeah.
You have to encompass, you have to consider everything. It's not just about you.
Yes.
And that's queendom. You know, that's a mindset when you're not, but sometimes you don't know. You have to know, and it's a blessing that you do know, that you took your own experience, and now you're not repeating it, but you're taking it and you're evolving it to something that you know could have been, well, it was beneficial to you, because had you not experienced that, you wouldn't know. And just the fact that you're even brave enough to move in the direction of something that you're not familiar with, because spiders, you could rob me with a spider.
Right, exactly. I will leave my home for a spider.
You can have it. Like, here's my purse.
I've done that. I remember when I was a kid, I was so terrified. I would literally not sleep in my room. But the reason why the documentary film is so important is because it's not, now at this point, it's not just me and my narrative about, you know, how I feel about post-secondary education and raising your kids, preparing them. I had a number of people who were interviewed for this. So we interviewed about 5 or 6 women. We had a college advisor. We had a mother who's a local community member who does a whole lot of work in holistic health and wellness. We had a recent graduate who talked about the trauma she experienced being on a predominantly white campus.
Okay.
We talked to a young lady who had left a predominantly white campus and decided to pick up a trade, which is something that I actually advocate for.
Okay.
Industrial trades.
Okay.
So I want kids to know about, I want parents really to know about the differences and how we can't keep just throwing kids in school and telling them to pledge and do all this stuff just for the experience.
I'm looking forward to this documentary.
I can't wait for it.
I'm looking forward to this. I can see this being played in schools.
Yeah.
You know, just everywhere. You know, just a total teaching moment, not just for adults, but just for everybody. You know, the whole community. Why did you choose the name Melanated Queens?
I think that when I was getting ready to write that book, I started off with the blog. So the blog started with the website, Confessions of a Melanated Queen. That's still the same original blog. It's that website. And I knew that, you know, we hear the word Black and African American over and over again. Melanated is a word that actually my husband and I use often in our home.
Why?
I don't know. I honestly don't know where it started. I mean, we've been together for so long. I think that he used it more than I did. And so it became a habit. And I mean, melanated, you know, we just say melanated people. We rarely say Black people in our house. I mean, we do, but we don't. And we talk about melanated a lot. And then queen, honestly, that had become a common term that people began to embrace. So I figured, okay, well, people will understand what that means.
Right.
I honestly never really thought of myself like it's in terms of royalty like that. I guess it's not that I don't think I'm worthy of it. I just never really put too much thought into it. But it was like,
for me,
you know,
with the word, you know, because it is used often.
Yeah.
For me, I don't use it that often at all. I'll use it if someone refers to me. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. It's not about royalty for me either.
Yeah.
To me, it's more of a mindset.
Right. And I think that that's what it was. And I also felt like, you know, I don't want to get too caught up because I was kind of tough on some topics. I mean, I spoke on, you know, I'm not against Black feminists, but I do have concerns about the overall feminist movement from a white woman's perspective.
How so?
Well, I think it's not our movement.
Okay.
And I think that, you know, we had to, so with that term, I had to find a way to separate because I don't want people to think that, you know, I burn bras and whatever. You know, I think that we have to be mindful that as often as we like to become integrated in different things, in different settings, in different spaces, we have been used for a lot of things too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I don't think that the traditional feminist movement was our movement at all. In fact, we were used as the forefront, the people in the front, the numbers, all that. But it did not benefit our families directly.
Not at all.
But black women have defined their movement a little different. And I try not to even touch that because I'm still not well versed in the area, but I know that the movement that's taught in sociology and all that I study, that's not our movement. And we need to separate ourselves from that because, in fact, those families are growing stronger. Ours are breaking apart.
Absolutely.
And so we have to figure out what works for us.
Why are ours breaking apart?
I mean, there's so many layers to that. I mean, I can give you a few examples. I think that we are still dealing with trauma in general. Black men, black women, which is why I'm careful. And even with this, I think that's one of the concerns I had about this. I didn't want anybody to think this is just a woman's organization. Yes, I do stuff for black women, especially female entrepreneurs, but my co-working space is for men and women. It's for black people, period. But, and I'll talk about that in the book, we can't, because we'll be here all night getting too deep with it. But we have to remember history. And we have to remember the things that were done systematically to divide us.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and the type of trauma that our ancestors endured, that's been passed down, the things that we still talk about to this day, and we don't really know where it came from because no one thinks about it. They heard it from their parents, who heard it from their parents, or from their parents.
And many of them don't even know.
They don't understand, they don't know.
And we're dealing with it even in the schools.
Right.
And they have no clue. Because all they're ever taught is Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. That's it, and slavery.
Exactly. And it's very limited, even with Dr. King. I mean, they only focus on I Have a Dream from 63. They didn't want to talk about what he was saying in 68 before he died.
Absolutely.
When he was talking about reparations. You know, they you know, so they pick and choose what they want us to know. But for me, you know, it's about us understanding that our journey is very different.
Yes, it is.
From everyone else's. And so I have a whole chapter about that. In fact, the chapter is called Queens, Melanated Queens Don't Wear Pink Knitted Hats. I wasn't very impressed with the marches that I saw. Because until I see these same women march for these black boys that's laying down on the streets when they're getting killed.
You just flushed my heart right now.
Until I see that, because if you're so concerned with women, then you would be irate over black mothers losing their children.
Absolutely.
You would be irate.
Absolutely. Because it's a human thing.
It's a human thing. So if you worry about mothers and equal rights and all that, it's not your boys out there. You'll be concerned about ours too.
Absolutely.
So when I see you do that, then maybe I'll pay attention to what you're doing. But otherwise, what we doing?
Wasting time. Blowing over it. Blowing right past it.
Yeah. You're not going to use me to up your numbers.
Because that's exactly what's happening. We've used on so many platforms for that. And we will be here all night with that.
We'll be here all night. That's another story. I just have to make sure you get a copy of the book.
Absolutely.
I'll make sure you get a copy. I should have brought it.
That's okay. I'm seeing you. So
make sure you
that goes right into, so do you have members of Melanated Queens? You have other races that are a part of your organization?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we definitely, because we're open to the community.
Okay.
But I make it very clear that from the pictures that you see, the artwork in here, Billie Holiday is around the corner. I mean, Madam C.J. Walker is right there. This sister's right. Actually, a community member painted that. One of the members' daughters painted that picture up there. So, you know, it is designed with melanated people in mind.
Okay.
Like anything else, people are going to be attracted to what we do, and it's fine.
Right.
So I do have members that are not black.
Okay.
And that's okay.
And so when you named it this, were you concerned about them feeling excluded?
Well, because it came way before the space.
Okay.
I don't want to think about nobody but black people.
Got it.
I had to get to this point where it became a business. I had to be mindful that you know, you're going to have people who don't necessarily fit the description, who may have interest, and you know, and that's okay. I don't walk around telling people like, you know, you're welcome to come. You know, you're welcome to come. I want it to happen organically, and it has.
Right.
I mean, one of our members who is non-black has actually recommended us to several people.
Right.
Because she utilizes spaces for her business. She's a photographer. She's very talented. And so, you know, and I appreciate that. But at the time when I wrote the book, which is the mother of all of this, I wasn't thinking about nobody.
Okay.
I really wasn't. I wasn't thinking about nobody. But now that, you know, we are a business, we are a community, you know, I'm still not putting a lot of effort to make sure that people, you know that they're welcome. Like you either come or you don't.
Okay.
But if you knock on the door, you're welcome.
Okay.
You know.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So when you started, tell us about some of the challenges that you ran into.
Would that be with the co-working space or just the whole
With Melanated Queens? This co-working
The
space.
co-working space, I think the biggest thing was when I'm ready to do something, I'm ready like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I had set on the thought for over a year before I really got the fire to do it.
Mm-hmm.
First was a thought. I had presented to somebody and they were like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, okay, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I slept on to continue to record my podcast, continue to do everything else, selling the book. But the problem, I think that the challenge I had was that had I had really taken it serious, I would have been better prepared to really open the way I wanted to.
Okay.
But when I'm ready, I'm ready.
So what are some of the things that people do here?
Well, it's co-working, so they share the space to have their meetings, their business meetings, but it's also social.
Okay.
And so, it's a number of things. It's not the typical co-working space where somebody will rent a office and that's their office and they pay rent. They pay a monthly fee, a very affordable fee, so they can either have meetings, print, the television is in there, they have access to the coffee and the beverages and refrigerator and things like that. They want to have a meeting with 4 or 5 different people, there's a room for that. They want to have a meeting for 2 or 3 people, there's a room for that. If you want to have Melanated Queens night, there's the whole office for that. If you want to use the back room for a photo studio, there's so
I like that.
it's just a matter of people just using it for different things. What I did not expect was the photographers to express as many interests. I have several photographers, and I never considered them at all.
Okay.
When I opened this space, I thought people would be in here with laptops, blogging and doing podcasting and things like that.
Right.
They're in here doing full photo shoots.
Wow.
That lets me know what I need moving forward. As we grow and we invest in a larger space, there needs to be a space within that space for those people.
Okay.
So this is a year of teaching for me and research.
Good.
Let me know what I need.
Good, and that was about to be my next question. Like, what are you proud of so far? And it sounds like, and you can keep going on it. You're proud that you're learning.
I'm learning, and see, one of the chapters in that book was I'm a student of everyone and everything. I'm always a student. I can be an educator, a mentor, a leader, but I'm always a student. So this was something that I knew that if nobody had an interest in what I was doing, I can afford on my own. It'd be hard, but I can do it.
Right.
So I didn't want to go too big. But now that we're here, I'm learning that people are patient with the process.
Okay.
They respect and appreciate me enough to be patient with me. They're also kind enough to let me know what they're interested in. Now, they haven't told me about all the chairs that are kind of breaking down I need to replace. But I think they're just waiting for me to figure that out. But they're just kind and gentle with the process, and it's a very organic experience.
Yeah.
So I can't take credit for that. I mean, I had the idea, I had the vision. I found the space, I picked out the furniture.
Okay.
But I did not create this community. They come, the women and men, we have a couple men, but mostly women in our space, they come together, they connect.
Okay.
They form their relationships.
What do they look for most here? What's the consensus? What do you hear about why they love this space so much?
So when we first started kind of getting together, we were doing Melanated Queens night, and that is my monthly Friday night networking event for women. My whole thing was I wanted it to be used as a networking event, but also wanted non-members to have access to the space. So if they just want to come in just for a day, not necessarily be committed to a membership, they can come here. I didn't know that it was going to take off the way it did. I mean, people have referred to that evening as a safe space where they can really talk about some pretty heavy stuff. I mean, it's not just wine and pizza. We've had some pretty serious conversations in here. We've had some life-changing conversations. There have been times when it's like, we'll walk away and then everybody's like, hey, did you hear from so-and-so? How's she doing? What's happening with this? Just checking up on each other. I can't take credit for that. They just felt like there was something here.
Oh, yeah.
I prayed over the space.
You can feel it.
Yeah, I prayed over the space. But it's not just my energy.
Yeah, it's a combination of everybody that's coming here that makes it up. So when I walked in, this was my first time visiting, I walked in and I immediately just felt the aura. It was very, very warm. It had nothing to do with the colors. I mean, that was an addition, it added to it, but it was just it was a really warm feeling. And I said it to her several times, like, it feels really warm. It feels really welcoming. You can feel the family here. You know when you walking somewhere and the energy ain't right. You know when you walk in there and you like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm ready to go. I don't know why. You start having anxiety kind of thing. And I walked in here and I just felt it. Like I said, spirit led. I'm really big on that, and so I'm so happy that she is here with us today and just teaching us some stuff about how to keep going and being great. We want to know. So you got all these great things and all this resilience about yourself and this go getter. You're that. But what have you quit before?
Oh, I've quit a lot of stuff.
Give us 2 things.
I've quit. I've quit jobs. I've quit ideas. I've quit. So, for an example,
what's something that you quit that you wish you hadn't quit?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because I can't honestly say that I have really quit anything that
you didn't revisit.
I really regret it because, like, for an example, I had a nonprofit before I had Melanated Queen Productions.
Okay.
We City was a nonprofit. And I created a curriculum, and I went into schools, local schools in the South Suburban area, and I taught a curriculum about servant leadership, teaching kids how to be servant leaders.
Nice.
I quit that.
Oh.
I don't regret it because I wasn't honest with myself.
Okay.
So from 2000, so after the situation when I lost my job, I was like, I got to have my own. I got to do something. And so I knew nonprofit work. I knew serving. So I wanted to replicate what I had been doing through my 9 to 5 and my own business. But I wasn't honest with myself. The truth is, I want to make money. I want to be able to one day transition where I'm more home with my son and accessible to my family. Not saying with a nonprofit you can't do that, but it looks different. There's a different route for that to get to that point. And I wasn't really trying to do that. So I shut that down after like a little over a year.
Okay.
I shut that down and I quickly picked up Confessions of a Melanated Queen.
Why weren't you honest with yourself? Where was the part that wasn't the connection?
Well, I think that at the time, when a lot, and maybe this is something that's common, I'm not sure, but I felt that I couldn't identify a product that I saw. I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
But I'm like, I don't have a product. I don't make skincare products. I don't make any food. I don't cook. I don't do any of that stuff that people usually sell. What can I do? I thought about opening a tutoring services. These are things I'm used to. I worked in education. So to me, I can do a nonprofit, and then you ask people to you get grants and they fund it and all that. You can create, because I'm great at creating programs. I'm a great creator. I create programs. I can build a space. I can build these things. I know how to build communities. I wasn't honest about what I really wanted. What I really wanted was income.
Got it. And
I should have been more honest with that. And I could do that more with an LLC than my 501c3. Not saying that you can't. You can, but it's you got to go a different route with that. You got to raise money. You got to have a board of directors you report to. You have to get grants. Fundraisers and all that. I can write a book and make a little money.
Right.
I can do a podcast and get a few sponsors. I can open a co-working space and get members.
Right.
And so I quit that, but I knew that just wasn't that it taught me what I can do.
Right.
But that's not. I didn't love it. I love this.
Lord is teaching us. Y'all hope y'all got y'all pen and pad.
And let me be clear. I'm still not making money. I'm getting revenue to help fund and pay for the space.
How long have you been open?
Like 6 months. Yeah, 6 months. So it's
She's
enough.
Sticking with it though. Don't
right. That's this is how I know This is
the beginning.
Because the nonprofit was like,
Because look at that. Look at this.
Yeah.
She's been open 6 months, and she moved me enough to be the first person that I wanted to bring to y'all. I know it's going up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people like me, people like that are coming here every day. All these people that you're touching, then they're touching people.
Yeah.
Because I don't see anything but greatness for you
and
and all the people that are connected to
Thank you.
What you're doing is so beautiful, and I'm so glad that you're not shy about what your passions are,
Oh, yeah.
and that you're able to speak towards it in a language where everybody can understand. It can resonate on many levels with so many people. It's not just this, like you said, it's not preachy.
Right.
It's all I hear is service and passion.
And that's the thing with this, with Melanated Queen Productions. One thing I can say is that even though we're not making a profit yet in terms of, oh, all my expenses are paid and at the end of the day I take home this. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with it taking a year, another year, 2 or 3 or 4 years to get to that point because I love this.
And some people can't wait. They can't.
Right.
So you have to pay. Your patience is grown.
Because this is it.
Yeah.
Whereas that nonprofit, I mean, I bought about 3 pizzas for those kids. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I mean, it's just the truth. I was financially pouring into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't hit the same as they say. Like it wasn't hitting the same.
You weren't connected to it.
I wasn't connected to it though. But this, I can drop some good money. I've hosted the Melanated King and Queen Awards.
Yes.
I've done all that. Those were expenses.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't always make profits off of stuff like that. I mean, I was lucky if I broke even.
What are the Melanated Kings and Queens Awards?
So in 2019, in an effort to raise money for the documentary series, I hosted the Melanated Queen Awards, first annual last year. Mm-hmm. We gave awards to 22 women who were servant leaders in their community, servant leadership again.
Okay.
So women, and we let the community choose the women.
Okay.
So it's not like I was like, I like you, I like you, I like you.
Right.
I put out a survey
mm-hmm.
and let the community anonymously
yeah.
elect who they thought would be great women who were servant leaders, whether they were educators or someone who's doing great for the community.
Okay.
That went well. We sold out. That was April 2019. Of course, I got to do something for the men.
Yeah.
So in October of 2019, we honored 18 black men
mm-hmm.
who were servant leaders in their communities.
Nice.
And the first one was to be a fundraiser
mm-hmm.
for a film that I had actually really already paid for.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay to get stuff done,
mm-hmm.
but it was supposed to kind of bring everything back. But we broke even. We didn't make no money, but I made a lot of connections.
Yeah.
And met a lot of cool people and learned about a lot of things that people, men and women, throughout this process are doing in our community, and that has helped me.
And you helped create a domino effect. You helped them inspire other people to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because you had 18 men, but
mm-hmm.
then you encouraged 18 more that thought maybe, man, he went out there and he's
mm-hmm.
doing it, so it's always something, even though it may not be monetary, you're still helping the community, you're helping the world, you're helping everybody move in a positive direction. So, I'm a strong proponent for the money will come.
Oh yeah,
but you definitely have to follow your passion or you will struggle. Like you said, you bought them 3 pieces.
I was done. By the third week, I bought some pizzas. I was like, you know what? I'm not interested in this.
Right, because when your heart's not in it, you're literally, you like tit for tat, everything. It's like you're watching everything. But when your heart is in it, I had a friend tell me, she like, Penny, you are not Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
Stop giving away everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a long time. Like, I've had, like, debates, falling outs with people close to me because they're like, you're not going to make a profit if you keep making everything free. Like, you can't run your business on free because that's all people are going to ever associate you with. And they're out there paying for this. Why can't they pay for the service that you So it took some time, and I got some friends that love me because I probably would have dumped me because I was stubborn. And, it's just, when it's on your heart to do it, you can't ignore it. You just want to give it. And you've been giving back a lot. So, for a woman that wants to join your organization, or a man, how would they be welcome? Like, what's their first day like?
Well, I like to keep things as simple as possible. So one thing I'm learning to do is offer an open house once a month. So this Sunday was at the 19th. We're having probably our 3rd or 4th open house. I'm starting to make them like a monthly thing. But anybody can schedule a time because I still work a 9 to 5. We mentioned I work for a school, so I'm not available during the day. This office is self-ran by the members. So we have a code to the door. Members can come in, key in, help themselves, do whatever they want to do. So for the onboarding process, if you can't make it to the open house, I ask that people contact me, and I'll leave my number, and we can schedule some time for them to see the space. It's important for people to come in and see the space, understand, because they may imagine something that it's not.
Okay.
And so it's important that I let people see the space, figure out how it works for them, and then I have a membership agreement. They pay their first month, and they get a code.
That's nice.
And I'm done with it.
I already know I'm gonna be using her space. She got some real. I definitely want to become a member.
Oh no!
I definitely want to become a member. I need a space like this.
Okay.
So we'll talk more offline about this. So tell us about some events you have coming up.
So we have the open house this Saturday on the 25th. We are working with Credit Honor, Ontario Jackson. He's a financial analyst.
I want to come to that. I saw that.
Yeah, he's doing a workshop, and he's excited about it because
What
he has
time
high
is it?
energy. I want to say is from 1 to
How can people find tickets?
I give you a link, but it's on Eventbrite.
Okay.
It's also on my page on Melanated Queen Productions and Dr. Lauren Meeks. You follow my personal page. There's a link to Eventbrite.
Okay.
It's really his workshop, so the community they can use this space to host workshops.
Got it.
So, I mean, I'm here to serve in that area. So you don't have to necessarily be a member to do that. I can work with you so that you can actually book the space for that.
So you can rent the space to hold your, that's nice. That's like, y'all hear that? Right here in Homewood, Illinois.
So that's coming up on the 25th, and then on the 31st is our next Melanated Queens night.
Okay.
So that's January.
Okay.
And then February, I have some more announcements. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, people always ask that. Okay. So, people always ask the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Is it just me? Is that difficult to answer?
Yeah, because I don't really think it's healthy anymore for me to want to know where I'm going. I want to be alive and well.
Yeah.
I want my husband and my child to be alive.
Yeah.
I hope, God willing, my parents are healthy in here.
Yes.
But in terms of this whole career or the whatever you're building and all that, I think that if you can think, I think it's okay to have a general understanding. Like, I want to be out of debt in 5 years.
Right.
I want to be at a place where I can do X, Y, Z. But when you're like, I want my title to be this.
Right.
I want to have blah, blah, blah. You have to be really careful because
unrealistic.
And you may limit yourself by doing that.
That's true.
So you start, because you think you know what you want to do. You don't know what his plan is.
Right.
So, I have to be careful with that because 5 years ago today, in 2015, I was still very upset about losing my job. I couldn't get out of that funk. I was trying to figure it out. So I couldn't even imagine Melanated Queen Productions. This wasn't even something I would even consider.
I asked you that because when I wrote the question in where I originally went with it was that I'm like, I don't like when people ask me 5 years from now, 10, and then they have the whole thing. Well, if you don't know what you're going to be doing 5 years from, it's like this really negatively judgmental way that society is painted traditionally, even in interview processes. Anything, it's like they say that you're supposed to plan out, but at the forefront of everything, I need to be alive and well here. That's what I want to be, and then I can make choices after that. So then, even as I asked you that, and then I phrased the question, I said, where do you see yourself in a year? I'm scrapping that question. I want to ask you, where do you want to see Melanated Queens go?
I want us to grow. I want us to be able to accommodate more people. I want us to eventually, I appreciate our humble beginnings, but we need to move. I knew that when I got the space.
Okay.
But you have to be careful. Make sure you invest in a way where if nobody's interested in what you're doing, you can handle it. But I think we got something going here.
Good.
So I think within the next year, we are prepared to move to a bigger space, to accommodate more people, to support more people. But outside of that, I don't know because the people are going to tell me what they need.
Right.
And I don't know who all they are now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know the 16 or so members that we have here now, 17 members, they tell me what they need. They need to be able to take their pictures. They need to be able to do photography. They need to be able to film. They need to be able to record their podcast. They need to be able to have a quiet moment they can bring their children. We see that. So now I have an idea of what the blueprint of the next space should look like.
Okay.
But specifically, and all these different little things, everybody wants to plan down to the T. You don't know if you're operating from a space of service.
Right.
Because didn't nobody tell you what they need yet. So you can think about what you want. I mean, granted, I would like to be able to work directly for Melanated Queen Productions in a year. But it's okay if I don't.
Right.
It's okay. That's going to come.
You're willing to do the work.
I'm willing to be patient and do the work.
So I asked you about Melanated Queens. What do you want for yourself in the future? Like,
what do you
want? What does
I
Lauren
want freedom.
Oh, that's my youngest son's name.
Oh, is it? That's dope. No, I love I want freedom. I mean, and I have to be careful how I respond because I don't want to use any of those cliches like be your own boss,
right?
Boss babes, and we out here being a boss again. I mean, that word boss, I talk about in my book. I have a love-hate relationship with it.
I see. Me too.
But I do think that people aren't really thinking about what that truly means.
Yeah.
So What I choose to say is that I desire freedom. I know what it's like to be in a space where all you see is four walls all day, and then you don't even know what's happening with the weather.
I know.
You don't get a chance to see the sun.
No.
You don't know if it's cloudy or not. I want to be able to see that. I want to be able to be out and about. I want to be able to be in my community. I haven't had that in a long time.
Okay.
That to me is freedom.
Yes.
So
many things fall into that category of freedom. You like being able to get up at 10 if I want to.
Right.
Leave out the house at 10 rather.
Yes.
Whatever.
Come back home.
I'd like to be able to know that I can get my work done in the chunk of hours that I choose, as long as it gets done.
Right.
But to punch a clock to a person that wants to be free, it's kind of devastating.
It's very hard.
Yes.
It's very hard. I mean, you have those. And I'm thankful for having time off during Christmas break, which is paid for and all that.
Yeah.
But that Sunday night before it's time to go back to work is tough. And I told somebody online the other day because she had made a post. I think she shared a meme or something about the anxiety that everybody had the Sunday night before we go back to work during the Christmas holiday. How we need to have a support group for that.
I agree.
Yeah, it needs to be a support group for that because it's real. I thought it was just me.
No.
But it's a level of anxiety and anxiousness and just, stress.
You think about the amount of people that are comfortable now, not saying that they were sick, because people would lie and say they were sick to take off. People are being honest and saying that they had to take a mental health day. It's getting real.
It's getting real. It's getting real.
It's getting real. There's not enough support. The work days are way too long. The work week is too long. And then we get this Friday night with probably dead to the world, tired from the whole week.
Yep.
You got to try to get everything done Saturday. And now Sunday, it's time to get ready to go back.
And that day that you said, you asked, like, when do you think you can have that quiet day? Sunday, I noticed that I'm irritated by anybody that speaks to me in my house. Because I desire to be quiet, because I think that what I'm not realizing is that I'm mentally preparing for the week ahead of me. So that everybody got to suffer now. Now, when I wasn't doing this and I had a little bit more flexibility in my schedule, Sundays were cool.
Yeah.
Because Monday is a day for opportunity.
Right.
But and I'm not, because I totally believe in working.
Yes,
and
me too.
If it wasn't for me if it wasn't for my husband working as much as he does, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, you do have to tap into what you desire, and it's okay for us to fight for that. It's okay for us. It's different when my parents worked at the same job for 31 years, and they're doing well because they retired at 50. They retired very young, but they served 31 years. They never thought about anything outside of that. I think it's okay for us to chase that dream and to work for it, knowing that's going to take sacrifice. So that's why I said Sunday is my day where I can see myself, like, I'm cleaning my house for one. That's my cleaning day. I'm getting ready for the work week. And the minute somebody says something to me, I'm like, if you could just stop. Just stop talking to me. But that's because I don't have that freedom. Because if I knew that the next day I had the day is mine, it wouldn't. I don't have to be stressed about me trying to hurry and finish.
If we had a Monday too, I think we'd be happier.
Yeah,
I think we'd be happier. I mean, well, 3-day work week would be great, but if you gave me that Monday too, I would be much more satisfied.
That's it. Or even a shorter day.
Shorter day.
I mean, there's no reason for people to be now. Even in school, kids are tired.
They are.
They're tired.
And we're expecting them to be straight and they're following all the rules, have a great attitude. We don't even have a great attitude.
We don't.
And we have all these expectations of them. That, in itself, as I've gone through what I've gone through in my adult life, it's allowed me to be a better parent because I realize I'm still getting stressed out. I'm still trying to balance my emotions. I'm still trying to figure out, like, how do I think this teenager has it figured out? And I'm a grown woman who's still having fits. I may not do it in the same way that you're doing it, but I can't be so strict on them. Some people think that it's your baby and the kid, baby and the child or the student or whatever, but I just look at it as being fair.
Yeah,
I think it's fair. I was going to ask you about, will there be chapters of Melanated Queens all over, but I see expansion is happening, and that's something that you're working on. And you also spoke on that kings are welcome here, and so are children. And so, I know that this is going to go somewhere major. It's already there. It's already, the writing is on the wall. I mean, can you see her being just here, just
Yeah.
this is, it's no way that this can just stay here,
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing what you're doing, and you have so much to offer to so many
Thank
people.
you.
And you just taught me a lot today too, and to the point where she just getting a new member if she'll take me after I fill out my paperwork, because I'm excited, because there's so
Yeah.
many things that I have on my
Mhm.
to-do list
Yeah.
that she doesn't even know. Like, this has been on my to-do list.
Yeah.
It's been on my to-do list, and I'm just like, I mean, anyway, you got to come here to see it for
Yes.
yourself. Tell us where we can find you,
Mhm.
where you're located, all your social media,
Yeah.
find your books, everything. Tell us,
Sure.
give us this information.
So the website is confessionsofamelaqueen.com. We are actually revamping that. Shout out to FMK Media. She's actually redoing our website for us so that it's more appropriate for the co-working space. I am on Instagram at Melanated Queen Productions. I'm on Facebook at Melanated Queen Productions, or my personal page, Dr. Lauren Meeks. I can be reached by email at Lauren T. Meeks, LAUREN, as in Tom, MEEKS @gmail.com. If you want to order the book, go to the website. If you want to go to Amazon, you can get it as well. But again, just shoot me an email if you want to come by and see the space. We are having an open house every month. And so if you want to wait for that, follow me online to see the post for that. But otherwise, I am an open book. People can email me, ask me anything they want,
And that's true, because I sent her the questions because I wanted to get her approval. She's like, you can ask me anything you want. And I literally read every question. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, we believe in transparency. And
Absolutely.
it's about educating and supporting the community. So people may have questions that may be eventually of help for somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. So we share. That's no problem.
So give us some parting words. What do you want to leave people with?
I just say, pay attention to what's in your gut. Pay attention to what is that you really are passionate about. And I say that because people love talking about your passion, but it's like, what do you do all the time? And there's something that you can create of your own that is a reflection of that. Like, I've always loved putting people first. And there's, we talk about the good things about that and bad things about that. But the good thing is that if you do it right, you do it with integrity, it will serve you too. So find something that you want, something that you desire. I mean, you may have always been an artist, or you may always enjoy, I don't know, whatever it is. That put some thought into it and really evaluate what it is, and come up with something. Whether it's a hobby, it doesn't always have to be, a business opportunity. It could be a hobby.
Right.
It could be just like a bucket list item. Something, but we have to do something for ourselves.
Right.
Treat yourself.
Absolutely.
And for me, this was my thing.
Okay.
This was my thing, and I'm having a blast.
Well, I like your thing. I like it, and thank you so much
for
no
problem.
allowing me in your space and to talk to you and learn so much about you. I'm going to make sure that I post all of her contact information under this video. Do me a favor and like and subscribe to this channel, Create Your World. You can also find me on IG at Fanny's World Fitness Inc. Or you can follow me on Facebook. I'm under Fanny Dillingham, and my Facebook page, Create Your World. But again, please like, subscribe, and share this video. You know that there's some people out there that need some encouragement on how to keep going, on how to stay, on the path and keep a positive attitude, while not being afraid to fail. Go back to the drawing board. Like she said, she got fired and she had to figure it out and devastated. And when this is something that she thought was her passion, and she had to scrap that and go back, and she kept going. So resilience is what I'm getting from this conversation. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Peace.